Meghan McCain was on Fox News, and she had some deep thoughts here about Bernie Sanders and his campaign. Let's watch.
I'm glad I'm not part of Hillary's campaign right now, because I think Sanders is running specifically for his own agenda at this point. I agree with Juan. There's no foreseeable pathway for him to become the nominee. And I think he wants to burn this thing to the ground, metaphorically. I think he wants to turn the Democratic Party into the Socialist Party. And for what everyone wants to say about what's going on with Republicans, I think that convention is the one where it's going to get crazy and really dirty. And I think Bernie Sanders is incredibly selfish. I have never been inspired by this man. I continue to not be inspired by this man. And maybe he's relating to millennials because of how selfish and ridiculous he is. But I think the whole thing is bizarre.
Way to smear such a large chunk of the population of the country like that. Bernie's selfish, and no, millennials, they're selfish too. Something, and ridiculous. What the fuck? There's nothing less intellectual than millennial bashing. I mean, these are the people who were, basically dumped out into an economy that had a subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession because of the older generations. And then when they can't get jobs, everybody's like, oh, look at these lazy people. Like, you guys wrecked the economy, threw us out into this thing, and then you turn around and blame us. I mean, that's ridiculous. So, I find it funny that Meghan McCain, whenever she's on like Fox News or right-wing outlets, all of a sudden she's a far right-winger. And then whenever she's on liberal outlets, all of a sudden she's like, oh yeah, totally, I'm totally liberal. She's kind of a shapeshifter and an opportunist. And ironically, that's pretty selfish, even though she's accusing Bernie of being selfish. Yeah, here's the response to that. Bernie Sanders is a 74-year-old guy who could be retired on a beach somewhere sipping a pina colada, and he's not. He's doing 3 rallies a day. He was doing that in California. He was flying all over the country. Very, very tiring stuff. Why? Because as he said to Cenk on the Young Turks during one of his interviews, he's like, I'm fucking terrified that Donald Trump is going to be the next president of the United States. I don't think Hillary Clinton fares well against him, and the polls show that. So I'm trying to become the nominee so that we can fucking save this country from this maniac, and also so that we can move our country in a direction to be more like every other modern nation. And she says he has no foreseeable pathway. That's not true. Sure, it's a super skinny pathway, but Hillary does not have 2,383 pledged delegates right now. She would need that in order to be the nominee officially, in the sense that he can't contest the convention. He can try to contest the convention and say, hey, she's under FBI investigation. She might get indicted, so pick me. And that's exactly what he's doing. So he does have a pathway, and she says he wants to turn the Democratic Party into the Socialist Party. No, what he wants to do is take the Democratic Party and turn them back to their own roots. Because the Democratic Party used to be FDR's party, the New Deal Party, the Social Democracy Party. Then somewhere along the way, they became super duper corporatist. And they became pro-establishment. And they became part of business as usual. And they took a lot of money from Wall Street and they sold out. So Bernie comes along, he's the one principled guy. And now, ironically, he's getting tarred as being selfish when, who's really selfish in this race on the Democratic side? Hillary Clinton has wanted this position forever, for personal reasons. Okay, Obama, these are people who you can say to a certain extent they had ideals and they had principles, but their actions show they're not all principle. Okay, they wheel and deal and do a lot of things behind the scenes that they wouldn't want the general public to know. So these are people who deeply care about their own careers and the view, how they will be viewed in history. Whereas Bernie Sanders came along from day one and he acted politically incorrect and said things that nobody in the establishment wanted him to say. So the idea that this guy is selfish, he's the opposite of selfish. Really, a 74-year-old guy running around the country promoting a message that's wildly popular. That guy's selfish? He literally said, again, I don't view myself as a leader, but I'm doing this because I feel like I have to. The Democratic Party has moved too far to the right. So, I mean, look, if you think he's selfish, you think universal health care is selfish. You think universal college is selfish. You think getting money out of politics is selfish. You think stopping stupid wars is selfish. No, those things are not selfish. Those things are right.